What's up everybody, it's Halo coming at you with a new YouTube video, and today I just kind of wanted to talk about different things that you may be doing that's holding you back from your highest potential. All of these things are coming from my own testimony. I went through a lot of different things towards the end of 2024, and I feel like finally at a place now where I can share some of the unhealthy habits that I was upkeeping and how I overcame it, and pretty much, stepped into where I'm at now. So yes, if this is something that you will be interested in, please keep watching. I don't know how to segue into an intro. So the first thing that I want to talk about is people that people please. So this is coming from my own experience. I had so many drawbacks from being a people pleaser that still affect me now. And some of these drawbacks have been people taking advantage of me utterly disrespecting myself on a regular basis, and also just allowing people to treat me any old type of way because I had no standards over how people should respect me. I feel like we don't realize how easy it is to get caught up in people pleasing and just trying to be this amazing, loyal, and charismatic person to other people in order to get them to like us. I feel like that was something that I was struggling with for a really long time. It's just realizing that they shouldn't have to upkeep friends by pleasing them and trying to make them feel like they're on top of the world all the time. I feel like another thing was I just had very low self-worth, and I based my worth in a lot of other people. And so if I wasn't performing or if I wasn't showing up for them in the way that I normally would, I would shame myself and make myself feel bad for this, because I ultimately was deciding to put more energy into myself than I was other people. And it wasn't until lately that I realized that being selfish is actually probably the best thing you can do for people. You're pouring so much love into yourself, but you don't seek that from other people. So it takes that burden of you needing validation off of them and ultimately off of you. And it wasn't until I stopped people pleasing and I stopped trying to show up for everybody 1000% all the time that I realized that even some relationships in my life were toxic and very harmful, honestly, to my psyche and just who I am as a person. So the first hint of advice I can give to anyone, if you feel like you are a people pleaser, is to try and implement more ways of being selfish and taking that energy back onto you, because I feel like it can get really easy to put so much of yourself into other people, thinking that this is the right thing to do, thinking that this is how you upkeep your community, but in reality you're just draining yourself and you're putting too much of yourself into other people that quite honestly probably don't deserve it, especially if they're taking advantage of your kindness. So for all my people that have a really big heart, that love to give and just express love, my number one thing is to learn to love yourself first before you try and put that love into other people. Because if you don't learn how to love yourself first, you will never be able to truly love somebody else at the capacity that you should. So now this may sound ironic, but overachieving is actually keeping you from reaching your highest potential. I feel like, especially if you're black, a black woman, or someone that's black and queer, you kind of feel like you don't have a choice but to overachieve in order to keep up with the world around you. So much of the world is against us and just against us living and being, and you feel like, I felt like I had to supplement that by being superhuman and pretty much just clearing every single inch of adversity that was put in front of me without really processing my emotions that came from overachieving. And just to kind of maintain this livelihood that I was trying to upkeep, where I was doing fucking everything. I was skipping eating to do work. I had to go to the hospital multiple times because I was having flare-ups with my chronic illness. That was another thing. I was overachieving to the point where I was undermining the fact that I have an illness in the first place, and I'll get to that a little later on in the video, but that is important to know right now. And I will also get very intense anxiety whenever I wasn't performing the way that I normally would. Every time I felt like I wasn't going above and beyond, I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And like I said before, being Black and queer, it can feel like you have to be the best of the best in order to be recognized, in order to be respected. But lately, what I've learned is the more that I pull back and the more that I stop trying to claw for the validation of other people over who I am, the better my life has become and the more happy I've become, honestly. I feel like when you have a self-esteem that's based in performance, you are sure to burn out at a certain point. If you base everything that you are and how you can produce, first of all, that's just what capitalism kind of tells all of us to do. But outside of that, it's just feeding grounds for being burnt out and tired all the time and extremely anxious because you never feel like you're enough. And I feel like at a certain point, you have to be able to pull yourself back from feeling the need to achieve and excel and be excellent and on top of everybody, and just be who you are and allow that excellence to just run through you instead of trying to force it out. So another thing that I used to do was not prioritize my health. I feel like that's still something that I'm trying to learn right now, but I actually have a chronic illness, like I said before. It's called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS. And POTS is pretty much an illness that dysregulates your autonomic nervous system, and your autonomic nervous system regulates all your involuntary actions in your body, like your blood vessels contracting and constricting, your heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, and overall your fight or flight response. With this dysregulation comes a lot of fucking symptoms, okay? I can actually list them out right now. Chronic fatigue, nausea, dizziness, headaches, allergies, fibromyalgia, fainting, brain fog, numb, cold limbs, low blood pressure, and excessive sweating. So these are things that I pretty much experience on a daily basis, or I did experience on a daily basis because I wasn't really taking care of my body. Now I still have these symptoms, but they're managed a lot better because I actually give a fuck about, taking care about my health and stuff. But I feel like a lot of us have a tendency to not really listen to our bodies and not listen to when we're tired and we need to rest. And I feel like that's a relationship with my body that I am now trying to formulate, is allowing my body time to rest and not get into hustle culture or feeling like I need to get up and do something. I feel like that is the main thing. I feel like that was one of the main things that kind of kept me from reaching my highest potential for a really long time, because I just wasn't taking care of my body. You can't expect to be at your best if your body isn't, and that's something that I really had to learn these past several months. So for anybody that may be struggling with like really prioritizing their health, you have to remember that you only get one body, okay? Regardless if you are spiritual or you believe in reincarnation or anything, you only get one lifetime in the body that you're in. And so it is your duty to honor it. And yes, we are young, and so it's kind of like, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I'm young, da 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 da. But the number one thing that I've learned, especially with having this illness, is that it always catches up to you. And although you can't feel it now, you will feel it in the future. And I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice by not eating, binge drinking, smoking, chain smoking. Like, and I'm not to say, like, I'm not one of the people that's like, oh, no one should smoke and no one should drink. I do that shit all the time. So please do not believe that I'm like against substances. I love substances, but I feel like everything is good in moderation, and you just have to honor your body. And for anybody else that actually may have a chronic illness, please speak up about it. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't feel like you're inconveniencing anybody by telling them that you have something that's fundamentally wrong with your body. And I don't mean to knock you down or say that, something's wrong with you, because nothing's wrong with you. But if you know that you need a little extra help, if you know that you need a little extra support, and if you know that your condition can kind of scary for other people, you should tell them. I feel like that was something that I really had to learn. I would pass out multiple times before actually telling people I had a medical condition that I have to consider every single day. And personally, it wasn't until I was passing out in classes or passing out in public spaces that I felt like I needed to really step up and be honest about the fact that, I don't have a normal body. I have an illness. I have a fucking illness, and it sucks sometimes. Sometimes it can get really annoying. At the end of the day, I still have to honor my body, and I still have to listen to it, even when I feel like it's inconvenient to me. Another thing that I feel like can be keeping you from your highest potential is an overall lack of self-love. What I've learned lately is if I don't have love for myself, then I don't have anything. And you truly do have to go about it like that, because so many of us, we feel like we have to place our love into so many people outside of us or onto things outside of us, like careers and money and things like that. But if you don't have a fundamental love for yourself, then nothing that you do is really going to matter, because you're always going to be looking for the external validation that you seek from other people. I feel like an overall lack of self-love comes from a lot of internalized hatred. Maybe over the years you were bullied, or you were just made to be ashamed of who you are as a person. I know that I grew up as a chubby little black girl with 4C hair that was extremely expressive and emotional and sensitive. And I know how it feels to be bullied for just being who you are, or to hear and know that people are talking about you just because you don't necessarily look like everyone else, or you don't express yourself in the same way as everyone. And it took a really long time for me to see the beauty in that and see the beauty in who I am as a person. And so I would definitely recommend just taking time to really sit down and list the things that you love about yourself. There are aspects of yourself that you love about yourself, even if it's hard to admit. But writing it down and putting it on sticky notes, or even just writing it in a notebook, or just having something that you can stare at every day that says, hey, I love this about myself, it really does help rewire your brain to appreciating who you are more. So these are some habits that I've been actually trying to break the cycle of in my own life, and I feel like it has really been helping me just be who I am. I feel like your highest potential is just you being who you are, not what you can produce, not what you can give to other people, but what you can give to yourself. By giving love to yourself, it's really easy for you to service other people, because you're already doing the inner work. And by doing the inner work, you know what's needed in society, and you know the type of love and the type of gift that you have to share with other people to maybe help them along their own journeys. And I feel like the past 6 months of my life has been extremely transformative, and I'm not gonna lie, there were a lot of times where I felt like my life was just being turned on its head, and I just kind of had to go with it. I feel like the journey of self-love, respecting yourself, and making boundaries with people that you care about is definitely hard, and it's definitely a transition period, and you may lose friends along the way. You may lose different relationships that you really cherished, but at the end of the day, everything is happening for your highest good, and the more you implement love within, the better. And especially right now, I feel like building community and being around other people that are like-minded is more important than ever. But if you don't have the fundamental love for yourself, you won't even really know what communities suit you. You won't know what communities really are for you. That's pretty much all that I have for today. These are the main habits, like I said before, that are keeping you from your greatest potential, your greatest good, your highest self. And by dismantling these bad habits of your livelihood, you will definitely feel a lot better about yourself and where your life is going. So if you enjoyed this video, please drop a comment just telling me something that you liked about it or something that you resonate with. And please like and subscribe to my channel. I really want to just build a little community on here of people that are just trying to get better and heal and just lead their lives in love. I feel like we really need that nowadays, and I would love to hear from you guys and just know who you are. So yes, drop a comment if you will, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching my video, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.